Before the music swells and the champagne glasses rise, make sure you're still here. Subscribe to Emo Saga for stories where public celebrations hide private truths, and love waits far longer than anyone realizes. The invitation arrives 3 weeks late. Not physically, digitally. Buried under unread emails and missed calls, forwarded by my aunt with a short message attached. You should come. It would mean a lot. I stare at the screen longer than I should. Private engagement party. Saturday night. Hosted at the Whitmore estate. I almost decline. Almost. The house is enormous in a way that feels deliberate. Not flashy. Controlled. Stone facade, long drive. Iron gates that open only after my name is checked against a list. Warm light spills from the windows. Music drifting out into the night like a promise I don't remember agreeing to. I smooth my dress as I step inside, suddenly aware of how quiet I feel compared to everyone else. Laughter echoes through the main hall. Crystal glasses clink. Someone toasts love with practiced ease. I slip my coat off and scan the room. I don't recognize the host, but something about the space feels intentional. Like every detail was placed with care, measured down to the inch. As if the night was planned for a specific outcome. My cousin spots me almost immediately. "There you are," she says brightly, pulling me into a hug. "I was worried you wouldn't come." "I almost didn't," I admit. "I'm glad you did." She gestures vaguely around us. "Isn't this beautiful?" His family went all out. I glance toward the far end of the room, where a small crowd has formed. And that's when I feel it. That shift. That unmistakable sensation of being watched. He's standing near the fireplace, speaking quietly with 2 men in tailored suits. Tall, dark-haired, composed in a way that draws attention without demanding it. He doesn't smile when he talks. Doesn't gesture much. Just listens. And when his eyes lift, they lock onto mine. The room seems to pause. Not dramatically. Slowly. Like a held breath. He doesn't look surprised to see me. If anything, he looks relieved. I look away first. Annoyed at myself for the heat creeping up my neck. "Who's the host?" I ask my cousin, forcing casualness into my voice. She beams. "Oh, him? That's Alexander. He's practically family at this point. He helped plan everything." "Is he related?" She shakes her head. "No. He's just always been around. Since before we even met my fiancé. Always." The word sticks. I drift toward the refreshment table, hoping distance will dull the strange awareness crawling along my spine. Doesn't. I can feel his attention even when I'm not looking. When I reach for a glass of champagne, someone steps beside me. Not too close. Just close enough. "You came," he says. His voice is lower than I expected. Calm. Controlled. I turn. Up close, his gaze is unervingly steady. "Yes," I reply. "I almost didn't." "I know. That stops me." Sorry." "You hesitated," he clarifies. "That's understandable." I study his face, searching for familiarity. "We've met?" I ask. He tilts his head slightly. "Not properly." The answer doesn't reassure me. He gestures toward the room. "Are you enjoying yourself?" "It's impressive," I say carefully. "Yes. You planned this?" I ask. He nods. "Every detail." "For your friend?" "For tonight," he replies. The distinction feels intentional. Conversation flows easily after that. Too easily. He asks thoughtful questions. Listens without interrupting. Doesn't pry, but somehow seems to know when to pause, when to push just enough. I find myself telling him things I don't usually share with strangers. About work. About moving cities. About feeling out of place at events like this. "You don't disappear," he says quietly. "What do you mean?" "You stand on the edges," he continues. "But you don't vanish. You watch. You notice." A chill runs through me. That's an interesting observation. He meets my gaze. It's accurate. The speeches begin. Everyone gathers near the center of the room. I step back instinctively, retreating toward the wall. He positions himself beside me without asking. Our shoulders almost touch. My heart races for reasons I don't understand. "To love," my cousin's fiancé says, raising his glass. "And to the future." Applause breaks out. I clap politely. Beside me, Alexander doesn't. He watches me instead. You don't like speeches, he murmurs. No. They feel performative. Yes. He nods. I thought so. I glance at him. You seem very sure of a lot of things about me. I pay attention, he says simply. That can be dangerous, I reply lightly. His gaze darkens just a shade. So can not paying attention at all. Later, when the music grows louder and people begin to dance, I excuse myself. The night air feels cooler as I step onto the terrace. I exhale deeply, trying to steady my thoughts. This was overwhelming. I mutter to myself. You always leave before it becomes too much. I spin around. He's standing a few steps away, hands clasped behind his back. How do you know that? I ask sharply. He pauses. Because you're doing it now. I narrow my eyes. You're very observant. Yes. Or very presumptuous. He considers that. Perhaps both. Silence stretches between us. The house glows warmly behind him, light framing his figure like a deliberate backdrop. You didn't come here for them, he says suddenly. I stiffen. Of course I did. No, he replies quietly. You came because you don't like unfinished things. My pulse stutters. That's not. You don't leave questions unanswered, he continues. Even when they hurt. I stare at him. How do you know me? I demand. He takes a step closer, still leaving space. I've known you a long time, he says. That's impossible. He smiles faintly. Is it? Voices drift from inside. Laughter, music, celebration. The contrast feels surreal. You should go back inside, I say. I will, he replies. After you understand something. And what's that? This night wasn't an accident, he says. And neither was your invitation. My breath catches. What are you saying? He meets my gaze fully now, no longer hiding behind calm neutrality. I wanted you here. The words settle heavily. Why? I ask. His answer is immediate. Because I've been waiting. My heart pounds. For what? I whisper. He holds my gaze unwavering. For you to finally see me. The music swells inside the house. A cheer rises as someone announces the engagement officially. On the terrace, time seems to stall. I stare at the man who hosted a celebration for someone else, and realize with unsettling clarity that this night was never meant for them at all. The music inside crescendos, laughter spilling through the open terrace doors like a reminder of what this night is supposed to be. I don't move. Neither does he. The space between us feels deliberate now, charged with something I don't yet have a name for. You've been waiting, I repeat slowly. For what exactly? He exhales, not like someone nervous, but like someone choosing honesty over restraint. For the moment you would be forced to notice me, he says. Without escape. My stomach tightens. That doesn't sound healthy. No, he agrees quietly. It sounds truthful. I fold my arms, grounding myself. You planned this entire night just to get me here? Yes. The admission is calm, unapologetic. You manipulated my family. I included them, he corrects. They wanted a celebration. I wanted you present. Our interests aligned. I stop myself, breath sharp. That's not okay. He nods once. I know. The acknowledgement disarms me more than denial would have. Then why say it out loud? I ask. Why not keep pretending this was coincidence? Because tonight is ending, he replies. And I won't get another chance like this. That's not my problem. No, he agrees. But you are my choice. The word choice echoes uncomfortably. You don't get to decide that alone, I say. I didn't, he answers. You came. I bristle. I didn't know. You knew something felt unfinished, he says gently. You always do. I look away, out over the dark lawn, trying to breathe past the intensity curling in my chest. You've built an entire narrative around me, I say. You don't even know who I am now. He steps closer, not invading, just present. Then let me learn, he says. Not from distance. Not from memory. I turn back to him. You watched me. Yes. For how long? He hesitates. Long enough to understand that you don't belong on the edges, he says. Even when you put yourself there. My pulse races. That's not love, I whisper. No, he agrees. It's attention. Love comes later if it's allowed. The honesty unsettles me. Not because it's threatening, because it's controlled. You could have scared me, I say. I didn't want to, he replies. I wanted you curious, not cornered. And if I wasn't, then I would have let tonight pass, he says, and stayed quiet. I search his face for deceit. I don't find it. A cheer erupts inside the house. The engagement toast reaches its climax. Applause. Glasses raised. A beginning. And here's something else entirely. I don't know what to do with this, I admit. You don't have to do anything tonight, he says, except leave knowing the truth. And the truth is? That I didn't stumble into your life, he says softly. I oriented mine around the possibility of you. The weight of that presses against me. Why? I ask again. This time his answer isn't immediate. Because you were the only person who never asked me to be louder, he says. Or smaller. You looked at me once years ago like I was already enough. My breath catches. I remember. A brief moment at a family gathering years ago. A quiet conversation near a staircase. Nothing romantic. Just seen. I didn't think it mattered, I say. It did, he replies. It still does. A step back. Not away, but back enough to breathe. This is a lot, I say. Yes. And I don't reward obsession. He nods. Good. I wouldn't want you to. Then what do you want from me? I ask. His gaze softens, not weak, not pleading. Permission, he says. To start now. Without hiding. Silence stretches. The night air hums. I consider everything. The planning. The watching. The restraint. It's unsettling. But it's also contained. He never crossed the line without waiting. Never touched me. Never trapped me. And now, he's letting the outcome be mine. You don't get an answer tonight, I say. I know, he replies. But you do get something. I step closer. Close enough that he stills. You get one chance, I continue. To know me as I am now, not who you decided I was. His voice is quiet when he answers. That's all I want. The party winds down soon after. Guests begin to leave. Goodbyes echo through the halls. I slip inside to say farewell to my cousin, heart still pounding. When I return to the terrace, Alexander is waiting, but further back now, giving space. I'm leaving, I say. Yes. He doesn't ask to walk me out. He doesn't follow. That matters. At the car I pause. Turn. He's still there, framed by warm light and shadow. This doesn't mean I belong to you, I say. It means you don't, he replies. And you still came back to speak. I nod once. I'll call, I say. His lips curve faintly. I know. Weeks pass. He doesn't chase. Doesn't appear. Doesn't insert himself where he isn't invited. Then one evening I call. We meet somewhere neutral. Public. Quiet. He listens more than he speaks. Asks questions, and accepts answers without argument. No pressure. No scripts. Just presence. Months later, I realize something unexpected. The obsession didn't define him. The restraint did. And what he built around me, he was willing to dismantle, brick by brick, for the chance to build something with me instead. Love doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it watches. And sometimes, if given permission, it learns how to step forward without consuming the space it enters. This time, the celebration wasn't for someone else. It was for what we chose together.